are free. In case we are unable to finish it, then we can have it on Friday, Saturday also. It can continue. Okay?
Sure, sir.
Okay.
Sir, Viva is supposed to be given by everyone or by only those who opted for it?
Viva will carry 20 marks. Viva will see if your total this one, because it may sound a bit what you call still let me, your total evaluation so far, including your reports and the assignments given in between, will amount to 50 marks. Correct?
Okay, sir.
Isn't it? So far, how many marks have been, how many maximum marks we have appeared for?
32.
33, sir.
33.
33.
30,
33.
33. So you are left with another 17. All right. Some
Yes,
marks
sir.
will be assigned to your reports and some to your MCQs. So you will be reaching at 50 marks. So because the internal assessment carries 70 marks, therefore for remaining one you have to appear in the YFOC examination. And the choice that I was giving to you, you still can exercise that choice. If you do not want to appear in the YFOC examination, the marks you have obtained will be proportionately raised. Am I clear?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
So in that case, what I'll do, I'll post a link for a form. In that form, you write the data that is asked for. So if there are many who will be joining or who will be willing that their marks should be raised proportionately, so naturally I'll be conducting Viva for remaining ones. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay, fine. So we come to the discussion which we were carrying on yesterday. So this was I have also explained that if you need exactly 10,000, what should you do? Now we come to another use of break-even analysis, which is add or drop or replacement decision. In case the firm is into several products, A, B, C, D, E, many products in which it is dealing, and it is willing to replace one from the other, or it wishes to add another product line, or it wishes to delete one of the existing products or services. So either add or drop or replace. These are all the situations wherein break-even analysis concept helps you. How do we do that? This part I'll explain in this and subsequent slides. Now, starting with this one. Suppose from some the data which is given in red, current scenario is that sales price is 40 per unit, and for product Y sales price is 60 per unit. Variable cost is 25 and variable cost is 45. Fixed cost for both the units is 275. So this is the data with respect to the current scenario. All right. Now these products X and Y are being sold in 20 and 80 ratio, which we call as sales mix. SM stands for sales mix. This is the current scenario. Now, in order to take a decision that should we replace Y with Z or X with N, or should we add or should we delete or whatever, first we need to calculate the current break-even. Now, you have already known how to calculate the break-even for a single product. But if there are more than 2, 3, 4, 5 products, how to calculate break-even? First of all, this should be clear to us, and then only we can go for taking a decision for adding or dropping or replacing a product, or more than one product or less than 2, 3 products. So first of all, in this here, we have to know how to calculate break-even if there are more than 2, 3, or at least more than one product. In this current example, we have got 2 products X and Y. So in order to calculate the break-even, we should know the formula. The formula is that fixed cost is divided by composite contribution ratio. Fixed cost is divided by composite contribution ratio. Now, how to calculate composite contribution ratio? How to calculate composite contribution ratio. The steps I have explained here. See, sales mix is 20-80. So 0.2, 0.8. Is this clear? For X, it is 0.2. For Y, it is 0.8.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then second step is same as you had before. What is the second step? That you calculate respective contribution ratio. So what is the contribution ratio for X? 1 minus 25 by 40 or 1 minus 5 by 8. So it is 3.375. For Y, it will be 0.25. 1 minus V by C. So 45 divided by 60 will give you 75, and 1 minus 75 will be 0.25. Or 100 minus 75 will be 25 or 0.25. So this is your sales mix, 0.2 and 0.8, 0.375 and 0.25 is your respective contribution ratio. With the help of these two figures, we can calculate composite contribution ratio. And what is composite contribution ratio? Sales mix multiplied by contribution ratio plus sales mix multiplied by contribution ratio. So whatever is the sales mix of X, it is multiplied by its contribution ratio. What is the sales mix of Y? It is multiplied by its contribution ratio. And then these two are added. Adding them gives you 0.275. So 0.275 is your composite contribution ratio. Is the calculation of 0.275 clear?
Yes, sir.
I'll once again repeat. This step is known to you how to calculate contribution ratio for each product. For X, you have calculated. For Y, you have calculated. Now, all that you need to do, something that you already knew, this is to be multiplied by its sales mix. So you have multiplied 0.2 by 0.375. Similarly, 0.8 by 0.25. When you add these two, you get composite contribution ratio. Now assume that your fixed cost was 275. So when 275 is divided by 275, you get a figure of 10 lakh. So what is this 10 lakh? Break even in rupees. Can you elaborate it? Can you make a statement? You have rightly said it is break even in rupees. If we wish to say it in a sentence, any other answer a bit in more details?
So when the firm is
Riza, carry on, Riza. Yes. Anyone else? She has muted her mic.
So when the firm is selling in the sales mix of 2:8,
Okay.
the break even, the point at which no profit is occurring is 10 lakh in rupees.
Okay. Any more explanation from anyone else?
So at the point where the firm is selling products worth rupees 10 lakh, at that point it is neither earning a profit nor incurring a loss.
Okay. A comprehensive statement should be that if the firm is able to generate a sales revenue of rupees 10 lakh in such a way that 20% of X and 80% of Y is being sold, provided it is selling 20% of Y and 20% of X and 80% of Y, if it is selling and generating a total revenue of 10 lakh, it will break even. Can you verify this statement whether calculations are correct or not? How do we verify? Our total cost of selling X and Y should be equal to how much?
Total revenue.
It should be equal to
10 lakh
10 lakh.
10 lakh. Correct. You are right. It should be equal to 10 lakh. Now this total cost will consist of what? Fixed cost and
Variable cost.
Variable cost.
now fixed cost is known to you, which is 2,75,000. Correct?
Yes, sir.
In order to verify your answer, you should know what will be the variable cost.
Yes, sir.
What will be the variable cost of X?
25. per unit.
Per unit. But how many units?
So 2 lakh.
2 lakh, because in all you are selling for
20%.
of 10
20%.
lakh, of 10 lakh
80%.
contribution of X is 20%.
Yes, sir.
So X you are selling for 2 lakh rupees. Each unit you are selling for 25,000. Sorry, 25. How many units of X will you sell?
So we are selling it at 40 rupees.
You are selling, okay, 40. So fine, correct. How many units of X will you sell?
Sir, 5,000.
2 lakh divided by 5,000.
Divided by 40. 5,000 answer.
5,000. Now 5,000 units of X you are selling. What is per unit cost? 25. 25. So variable cost of X will become 1,25,000. Agreed? Are you getting or not?
So 25 into 5,000.
80%.
See, in order to, I'll repeat, hold on, I'll repeat. In order to find out variable cost of X and variable cost of Y, we should know how many units are we selling. You have made up your mind and rightly that you are selling X for 2 lakh rupees and Y you are selling for how much?
So 60 rupees.
8 lakhs, correct?
Oh, sorry.
8 lakh, you are right. Now X you are selling for 2 lakh and each unit you are selling for 40. So you will be selling 5,000 units of X. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Now 5,000 units of X, each unit costs you 25. So how much will be variable cost of X?
1 lakh.
1 lakh 25. Note it somewhere, 1 lakh 25,000. Now Y. You are selling, total revenue from Y is 8 lakh. How much each unit is giving you? 60. Okay. What is the per unit sales cost of Y?
60 rupees.
60.
60 rupees.
60 rupees.
60 rupees. So how many unit you will sell? 8 lakh
30.
divided by
60.
60. What is your answer?
13,000.
13,000.
13,000.
330.
Whatever. 13,333. So you are selling 13,333 units of Y. Each unit costs you 45.
35.
And what will be total variable cost? 13,333 multiplied by
45.
45.
What is your answer?
6 lakh.
6
6
lakh.
lakh.
So 6 lakh is your variable cost of Y. 1,25,000 is your variable cost of
X.
X.
X, and 2,75,000 is your fixed cost. How much does your total cost become?
So 10 lakh.
10 lakh.
10
10 lakh.
So your total cost is equal to total revenue.
Revenue.
That means your answer is
Verified.
Verified.
verified. Your answer is correct. Now, those of you who have still not understood can seek further clarification. Have you noted down these steps somewhere?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have taken it in 3 steps. Number 1, total revenue or BEP or total cost, first of all, will be divided into 2:8 ratio or 1:4 ratio. That is X and Y. So first step is divide sales revenue, total sales revenue in the ratio of 1:4 or 2:8. It gives you sales of X and Y. Divide sales figure of X by its per unit sales price and divide sales revenue of Y by its per unit sales price. It gives you number of units. Multiply respective number of units by their respective variable costs. So you get variable cost of Y, you get variable cost of X, you already have fixed costs. If you add all of them, the total cost is 10 lakh and total revenue is 10 lakh. Your answer is correct. All right. Is this part clear at this stage?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. Then what you were required to do, you calculate BEP in another scenario. What is the next scenario? The proposal is that it wishes to replace Y with Z. Y, this data which I am highlighting will no more be there. Instead, what will be the data? This one. That is Z. this data will be there. So Z it will be able to sell for 50 and its variable cost will be 35. In such a situation, should it replace Z with Y or not? So what will be your basis of decision? Break even calculate करेगा. If break even increases, what will be decision?
Sir, go ahead.
No, if break even increases,
Not,
No replacement.
not to go ahead.
not to go ahead because you will require to sell more to break even. And if break even is less,
So we can move ahead with Z.
you can move ahead with that because you will recover your total cost before compared to the current scenario. So you will be required to calculate break even. Now, can you calculate break even just like we have calculated for X and Y, for X and Z?
Sure, sir.
You can calculate. Your answer will be either more than 10 lakh or less than 10 lakh, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If it is more, you decided not to. If it is less, you decided to go ahead.
Go ahead.
And if it is exactly 10,
Then we
It is
can go
exactly 10
either with the
into
two. We can
Sorry?
choose. We can choose either of the two.
Okay, now write down a figure. I'll not be sharing this slide. 9,52,381. 9,52,381. 9,52,381 will or should be your calculated break even. आपने कैलकुलेट कर लिया?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's very good. It's very good. Now you can also verify your answer whether your total cost is exactly equal to this or not. So in the current scenario, what will be your decision? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We'll go ahead. with this.
Suppose your answer is exactly 10 lakh.
No.
Sir, if there is a scope for Z in future, then we will go.
Correct. This is the right approach. If you think that the possibility of demand for Z will increase, you may go for that. But there is a limitation here also. Can you recall what is the limitation?
So 20:80 ratio.
Yes, you are right. Because one of the assumptions is that sales mix remains constant. So under what condition will this be true? Only if both the products are sold in the ratio of 2:8 or 1:4. So if it is exactly equal to 10 lakh, because of that limitation, we may not go into such a hassle. Why to replace only if the demand for this is continuously decreasing and some changes are to be made and this sales mix also changes, then it is possible. But here the idea is just to give you some sense, some reference point that break-even analysis can be useful in such scenarios also. So these were some of the uses of break-even analysis. If you have anything to ask up to this stage, go ahead. If not, let me proceed.
So the sales mix ratio, we are using 2:8. Instead of using 2:8, can we simplify it further and use 1:4 at this stage?
It doesn't matter, but mathematically it will give you the same answer,
Okay.
isn't it? Okay. Any other question?
Sir,
No. What she was asking, instead of saving 2:8, can we say 1:4?
सर बात वही आ जाएगी
हाँ,
at the
वही तो
end.
मैं कह रहा हूँ, बात वही आ जाएगी, इसमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं। और कोई क्वेश्चन आपका है यहाँ पर?
sir, how to calculate contribution ratio?
ओके, कंट्रीब्यूशन रेशियो आपको शायद याद नहीं आ रहा, मैं दोबारा बता देता हूँ। एक फॉर्मूला मैंने आपको बताया था, 1 - V/S। तो व्हाट इज V? 25। और इसका ले लें, आसान है। व्हाट इज V? 45। व्हाट इज S? 60। तो 45 डिवाइडेड बाय 60 विल बी हाउ मच?
Sir, 3/4.
बाय 4 और 0.75 और 0.75, ठीक
Yes.
है ना? अगर 1 में से इसको माइनस कर दें तो क्या आंसर आएगा?
सब 0.25।
0.25। तो कंट्रीब्यूशन रेशियो आप कैलकुलेट करने के लिए 1 माइनस वी बाई एस, 1 माइनस वेरिएबल कॉस्ट डिवाइडेड बाई सेल्स प्राइस। ठीक है ना?
ओके।
तो ये आप ऐसे कैलकुलेट कर लीजिए, इसको मल्टीप्लाई कर लीजिए सेल्स मिक्स से, रेस्पेक्टिव उसको मल्टीप्लाई करते चले जाइए, फिर सबको ऐड कर दीजिए। ये एक्स का है, ये वाई का है, फिर जेड का हो सकता है, फिर ए का हो सकता है, फिर बी का। योर टोटल इज कॉम्पोजिट कंट्रीब्यूशन रेशियो। कोई और सवाल हो यहाँ तो बताइए। Shall I go ahead? Okay, yes. Now, when we move on, we have, these were some of the advantages or managerial uses that I have discussed with you. There are certain, this I'll come to this later. There are certain limitations of break-even analysis. Now, I have not written here those limitations, but just I have written here, look at the assumptions and attempt yourself. What are the assumptions of break-even analysis? Can you recall? Okay. Okay. Remains constant. So tell me, all these things are in real life possible or not?
Not always.
In
No,
real
sir.
life, they seem to
No,
be
sir.
unrealistic. So all the assumptions of break-even analysis, if somebody asks you to explain, so it suffers with limitations because the assumptions, you can take assumptions one by one. Let us say one of the assumptions is that sales and production are synchronized. It hardly happens that whatever is produced is sold. It happens, it may happen, but you will always find some stock. Despite this, can this limitation be ignored? Stock limitation. Can we ignore or we should not?
No, sir, not.
No, sir,
Should
it's not.
Let me ask question once again. Can we say, in spite of the assumption that whatever is produced is sold, is still break-even analysis will be, let us say, 100% correct? Can we say this statement? Or this statement, can this statement be true under one more assumption related to this? See, it will be true under one more condition when the value of your opening and closing stock is same, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Sir, I didn't
Mathematically,
understand.
it will be true or not? It will be true.
Can be.
Can be. Similarly, there will be a situation, each assumption, for example, sales price per unit remains constant. It does not remain constant, except in certain cases. कहीं रहता सेल्स प्राइस पर यूनिट कांस्टेंट, चाहे आप 1 रुपए की कोई चीज खरीदें, 1 लाख खरीदें, 1 लाख यूनिट खरीदें, या 1000 यूनिट खरीदें, या कम हो जाता। अच्छा, कहीं बल्क ऑर्डर में कहीं ऐसा होता कि सेम रहता? या कहीं नहीं रहता, कहीं भी ऐसा नहीं होता? जी अच्छा, कहीं ऐसा होता कि इसका उल्टा हो जाता?
स्टॉक्स लेते हैं तो शेयर सर।
शेयर्स। अच्छा, कहीं ऐसा होता कि इसका उल्टा भी हो जाता, 100 खरीदेंगे तो 10 रुपए का एक मिलेगा, 200 खरीदेंगे तो 12 रुपए का मिलेगा, 300 खरीदेंगे तो 14 रुपए का मिलेगा। जितना आप ज्यादा खरीदेंगे उतना ही आपको ज्यादा देना पड़ेगा प्रोग्रेसिवली। ऐसा होता कहीं या नहीं होता? ऐसा
ऐसा तो नहीं होता है।
ऐसा तो नहीं होता। इसलिए ऐसा तो नहीं होता कि अभी आप जो हैं एक पर्टिकुलर फेज ऑफ लाइफ में हैं। आप कौन से फेज ऑफ लाइफ में हैं इस वक्त? बच्चों की फेज ऑफ लाइफ में, सन या डॉटर की फेज ऑफ लाइफ में। जब आप पेरेंट्स की फेज ऑफ लाइफ में आएंगे तब आपको पता चलेगा कि ऐसा भी होता है। आप अपने अब्बा से पूछ लेगा बिजली का बिल कैसे पे करते हैं। आप अगर 100 यूनिट कंज्यूम करते हैं तो ईच यूनिट कॉस्ट यू लेट अस से 8 रुपीज, और 200 यूनिट कंज्यूम करेंगे तो कितना होगा? एडिशनल 100 यूनिट का 8 रुपए के हिसाब से होगा या 8 से कम के हिसाब से होगा?
सर चार्जेस बढ़ जाते हैं, स्लैब रेट बढ़ जाता है।
चार्जेस बढ़ जाते हैं। जैसे जैसे कंजम्पशन बढ़ता जाता है वैसे वैसे चार्जेस बढ़ते हैं या कम होते हैं? पर यूनिट चार्ज
बढ़ते हैं सर।
बढ़ते हैं।
बढ़ते हैं ना। तो ये क्या एग्जाम्पल हुई? यही तो एग्जाम्पल हुई जो मैं आपसे कह रहा था। आप यू आर बाइंग मोर एंड मोर प्रोडक्ट एंड यू आर पेइंग पर यूनिट मोर प्राइस। तो ये तो उसका आगे अलग हो गया। कोई और एग्जाम्पल हो सकती है आपके जहन में ऐसी?
सर टैक्स स्लैब को हम
टैक्स स्लैब, जितनी ज्यादा इनकम होगी उतना ज्यादा टैक्स पे
सर
करना पड़ेगा। जी
सर पेट्रोल का भी यही कर दिया है सर, बल्क में खरीदेंगे तो महंगा हो जाएगा। अभी 2 दिन पहले।
और बताइए। चलिए ठीक है, वो लेट अस कन्फाइन आवर डिस्कशन अप टू मार्केट सॉरी अकाउंटिंग ओनली। ये सब आप मार्केटिंग और बिजनेस पॉलिसी वगैरह में पढ़िएगा। अच्छा, तो क्या हुआ, कहाँ थे हम? ब्रेक इवन एनालिसिस के। आपको आई वाज एक्सप्लेनिंग यू दी एजम्पशंस। अब आप आइए इस स्लाइड पर एंड टेक ए कॉपी ऑफ दिस स्लाइड। जस्ट 1 सेकेंड। इस स्लाइड की आप कॉपी ले लीजिए, फोटो कॉपी ले लीजिए। फोटो ले लिया आपने?
यस सर।
अच्छा, सवाल क्या क्या है? Which one of the companies would be doing good when economy is expected to do well, when economy is not expected to do well? और उसके अलावा कुछ और भी ऑब्जर्वेशन है आपके, ये आप सोचिएगा, मैं किसी वक्त आपसे मालूम कर सकता हूँ। We will take up the next topic, at least introduce the next topic. फोटो ले लिया इसका आपने? Yes.
In the previous in slide number 3, you mentioned a point about closing stock and opening stock. Sir, I really didn't catch it. Can you please?
Okay, कोई बात. I was explaining you the limitations of break-even analysis. One of the limitations of break-even analysis is that it has several assumptions. One of the assumptions is that it assumes that there will be no closing stock. Your sales and production will be synchronized. Correct?
Yes, sir.
You have understood?
Yes, sir.
I told that despite this assumption, it may give you the correct answer because at times the value of your opening stock and closing stock may be the same. When it is same, practically it means zero value,
Right.
isn't it? So it may be true. Similarly, all the assumptions somehow or the other can be true, and break-even analysis will still be a very good tool for profit planning. Very good tool for profit planning and control. That is why it is known as cost, volume and profit analysis. ब्रेक इवन एनालिसिस का दूसरा नाम क्या बताया था आपको? कॉस्ट, वॉल्यूम एंड
Profit analysis.
इसीलिए उसका नाम कॉस्ट, वॉल्यूम एंड प्रॉफिट एनालिसिस था. Now next we will be discussing about the standard costing, and I'll share that PPT with you which talks about this. I am closing and I'll be sharing the other presentation. Okay, let me share that presentation. That presentation is first stop presenting. Okay, then I'll share. Okay, now you see the slide, you see the presentation.
Yes, sir.
Okay, costing we have done about initially costing as an aid to management, then various concepts of cost that we had also discussed, in what way cost data can be useful for the company, especially with respect to break-even analysis. One more concept of cost is there, which is also useful, known as standard costing and variance analysis. So standard costing, I'll explain to you its meaning, the procedure, meaning of variance and calculation. So why does a variance arise? Then like this I'll go on. So meaning of standard costing is that in order to see overall profitability can be attained or can be increased by either increasing sales revenue or decreasing or controlling your costs. One of the methods of cost control is standard costing also. So what is standard costing? That before a company starts producing a particular lot, it normally produces in lots. Before it does, it estimates the cost. It decides on an average it should spend so much. Then only it can add up margin and can then think of sales price. So if it estimates the cost in advance before starting the production, if it calculates that cost, so that cost you can call as standard cost. So company has estimated that we should be spending this much of cost in producing these items. Then after some time, when the actual production takes place, there will be actual cost that company must have incurred. So company will compare standard cost with actual cost. So there may be a difference. That difference we will call as variance. I'll come this, although I have just mentioned it later in the serial number. Meaning of variance. So variance is what? You have decided that you will spend so much of cost in production of a particular item. In actual, when you have actually produced, the standard cost or estimated cost may differ. If it differs, the difference is known as variance. Variance can be adverse or variance can be favorable. Suppose the standard you decided was 10 rupees per unit, and when you actually compiled the data, you ended up spending 11 rupees. So what is the difference of rupee 1? It is a variance. It is a variance and it is adverse variance. Suppose in the actual scenario, the cost you spent was not 10, which you estimated, but 8 only. So this two variance is what? Favorable variance.
Favorable.
Favorable variance. Now, very briefly about procedure of setting standard. When you estimate the costs, you collect data from all departments of a company or a firm or a factory. You have HR department, you have marketing department, you have production department, you have several departments. Each department incurs cost on human resources. Each department incurs cost on a certain expenses which are common to everybody. Let us say factories rent or buildings rent or manager's salary or managing director's salary. So there are certain common facilities and there are certain facilities or resources specific to a particular department or a product. So we collect data from all the department, and based on that, the cost is spread or is divided as per units. If the total cost is 10,000 and units to produce are 1,000, we may say that on each unit we will be spending rupees 10. So in real life, it's quite a complicated procedure. Meetings after meetings happen. They take place with various heads of the department. Purchase department submit its own data. Marketing department submits its own data. Your IT department, your this planning department, your market research department, several departments are there which decides or which estimates their own data and then come up with this, which will be likely cost that will be incurred in our department for producing these many units. After that, you arrive at a variance. You arrive at actual cost and arrive at a variance. I'll explain to you all these points as we go along. For example, if you look at this sheet here, we'll be closing our discussion here only. Okay, suppose you thought that your total cost, standard cost, will be 20,000. Will be 20,000 rupees for producing a certain number of units, 1,000 units, 200 units, any number of units. You thought that your total cost will be standard or estimated cost is 20,000. You compiled data after the production has already taken place, and there also you found that your cost is 20,000, exactly 20,000. So what is the variance here?
Zero.
Zero.
Correct? Zero, nil variance. What is the scenario? Is it comfortable situation, or should we proceed, or should we stop here, or should we go ahead and analyze further, or stop here? Okay, it is comfortable. Any other answer?
सर हमें ये नहीं पता है कि हम ये जो हमने प्रोडक्ट प्रोड्यूस करा है हम उसको किस सेल्स प्राइस पे बेचेंगे, हमको कितना टाइम लगेगा, तो आई डोंट थिंक इट इज कंफर्टेबल.
और बताइए.
So we can try to make it favorable.
ठीक है, कैसे फेवरेबल करेंगे?
So by cost cutting.
ठीक है और बताइए. Now if you think that we need not investigate further, because whatever we decide, whatever our estimates were 100% correct. In real life also, actually also we have spent the same amount, our variance is nil, no need to investigate further. I would advise all of you to go through the first slide when we started discussing data on cost accounting. See, you never know. Let me just proceed. Tell you also. You never know if this 20,000 is standard and actual. This 20,000 is standard. This 20,000 actual. Maybe a result of 4 or 5 different costs. Material you thought was 10,000. Labor you thought was 6,000. Overhead you thought were, or you estimated were 4,000. In real life, on material you spent 10,500. On labor you spent 5,000. On overhead you spent 4,500. So what is the material variance?
500.
500 adverse.
Adverse variance.
Adverse.
Labor
1,000 favorable.
1,000 favorable. Overhead
500 adverse.
adverse. Ultimately
Nil.
nil. That means had we stopped at this situation, we would have lost sight of this important information. Unless we know we in fact saved 1,000 on labor, but that saving was overspent on material and overhead. So we should investigate what happened as to why we have overspent than estimated. Why is it? Do you need to investigate all three or only first and third?
So only first and third adverse condition.
Okay. Hold on. We will continue our discussion tomorrow. Now you start attending the class of MIS. Okay. Right now the answer is incorrect. Think over it, and then we will come back to you tomorrow. I'll post all these details in the classroom.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
You can close the meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Walaikum assalam.
So how many questions will be there in the MCQ?
It depends on how many marks will be left in reaching or taking you to a score of 50.
Okay,
Isn't it? How many have you done so far? 33 you were saying.
Yes, sir.
33, sir.
30. Yes.
33. Maybe another report, another 2 marks or something of that sort. So 35, so there will be 15.
Okay, sir.
And sir, it will cover the entire syllabus?
No. Entire syllabus will become too difficult for you. So I'll give you selected topics only.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Just
Thank you, sir. Okay,
just
sir.
ratios and fund flow.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
But
Thank you,
if
sir.
you are all interested in the entire syllabus, I don't
No,
mind.
sir, not at all. No, sir. No, sir. We were just
Yes, sir, we were just asking you.
Okay, if I say entire syllabus and 10 grace marks to everybody.
Still
नहीं
not,
sir,
sir.
sir, no sir, thank you sir. Sir, of under the ठीक है. No sir,
अरे
no
no,
sir,
sir.
ठीक है.
No,
Just
sir.
stop
Sir,
it.
not everyone is in the class, so we can't say on their behalf.
Because even if you get 0, you are assured of 10 marks. Out of 15, 10 are guaranteed.
No
Yes,
sir,
sir.
please sir,
No,
ratio of
sir.
under
Yes, sir. I
the
think
ठीक
this is
है,
a good
sir.
idea.
No sir.
All right. No, you may just leave the meeting and join.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Salma.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum.